welcome, welcome, welcome to Health Issues. I'm your host, Sylvain, and we are truly honored and excited today. We have truly a distinguished guest and an honored guest. We actually have Dr. Cecilia Mouton. She is the Executive Director of the Louisiana State Board of Medical Examiners. Welcome, Dr. Mouton.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here today.
Well, we're excited to have you. We're really such an honor, and it's really an organization that most people may have never heard about. You know, who is the State Board of Medical? Would it tell us a little bit about what you guys do?
I'm happy to. The Board of Medical Examiners is actually one of the oldest boards in the country, and what we do is we license physicians and 11 other categories: PAs, midwives, respiratory therapists, occupational therapists, medical psychologists, athletic trainers, polysomnographers. I don't want to leave anybody out, but the biggest group are the physicians.
Okay.
We license them and we regulate them.
Okay.
We discipline them when necessary.
Okay.
And the mission of the board is to protect the public through licensing and regulating these group of healthcare providers. So what we do is we also promulgate rules and opinions that are used by our licensees in telling them how they need to practice. From the public perspective, we respond to written complaints.
Okay.
And so as a state agency, a lot of times the public might, if they had a bad experience with a doctor, they'll write to the Medicaid hotline, or one of those kind of things.
Right,
and we are similar. We take written complaints from the public, and then we would investigate that complaint.
Okay. All right. And you're a physician yourself?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. And tell us a little bit about your practice at Charity.
I went to LSU.
Oh, wow.
I did my residency at Charity in internal medicine, and then I spent an extra year being the clinic chief. So I ran the clinic, the medicine clinic at Charity for a year.
Okay.
And then I stayed on the faculty at LSU, and then I took a position at Touro. For about 10 years. Touro had it was called the Touro Foundation. It was a free clinic for patients in that neighborhood. And then one of my mentors called me and asked me if I wanted to come help him at the board. And even being a physician, I didn't know what the board did. So I moved over probably part-time in 1996.
Wow.
In 2005, Dr. Beaubert retired, and then I assumed his position.
Wow.
I became the director of investigation, and then in July I became the executive director.
Awesome. Awesome.
So I've been doing it for a long time.
A long time.
Yes.
A long time. A long time. So, but the concept of the relationship with physicians, but having been a physician, that's a lot of respect.
Yeah, I think what is unique about the Louisiana Medical Board that doesn't occur in other boards, every other state has a board of, some sort of board of medical examiners. I think having a physician in this position, I think it gives, you know, that added understanding of what are the challenges that physicians are facing.
Right.
And I think it allows for a more balanced approach in how we respond to the complaints from the public. Right. And so I do think having a physician in this role is important, and allows us, I think, to be successful in what we're trying to do.
I think that's awesome. I guess from the public standpoint, though, the physician, if there's anybody on about 6 steps away from God, I mean, you know, the physician, you know, people in society, in American society, and I don't know about any other country, but in American society, the physician, obviously, I guess, the most trusted, respected many times, and that people truly don't understand what they're saying half the time, but you know, that they honor them.
Yeah, it is. Physicians do have more power because of their education and their authority in a relationship with a patient. And patients, you have to trust that person who's your doctor.
Right.
And so that's why, you know, we investigate allegations of unprofessional conduct where a physician has been deceitful or hasn't been telling the truth, or because it undermines the public's trust in their physician.
Right.
You know, when I am teaching, which I used to work at LSU teaching ethics to freshman medical students, and I used to tell them, you know, because they start as just people when they start medical school, yet by the time they finish their training 8 years later, I said, a patient walks into your office and you tell them to take off their clothes, and you can put things in their, you know, you can lay hands on them, and it's okay, and because you're a doctor, and with that privilege comes responsibility. And so yes, I think physicians do have to behave differently. They do have to appear to well, I'll just say they just have to appear to behave better.
The white jacket.
Yeah, it bestows. I mean, I think ministers, physicians, you know, the public respects and elevates us, and there is responsibility in how we should behave. Yeah. You know, to earn the trust of the patients.
But from a, I still think, and I don't know, I mean, I haven't seen the poll, but that people, from my own experiences, when the idea of a physician not operating at that level, it's almost like an oxymoron. When you say physician, it's almost as if they've gone through school. There's no way they can go low, but not so low.
I hope that's the case. I think in the vast majority, 99% of physicians probably operate that way. Unfortunately, there is a small percentage of physicians that do violate the public trust, and they end up being disciplined, and that's my job. Yeah.
And that's your, and I guess that's where we're headed, because people need to be able to trust their physicians.
Yes, yeah.
Because if they don't, then they start self-treating, and
absolutely,
and then we're in trouble.
And you have to believe that the doctor who's writing you a prescription or he's recommending a surgery, you have to believe that your interests are the most